That seems to be working. Second take. Honestly, I hate computers, and these cameras are just nothing but overglorified computers. Howdy. Well, as you may realize, I collect guns. I'm a collector of many things, and guns is one of them. And I like older military surplus and really early stuff like flintlocks and cap and ball and that kind of stuff. But military surplus is really my bag. And I also like the gadget factor, the early mechanisms that were used in various firearms. For instance, these two. Hold on just a second here. Austro-Hungarian, Rothsteyr and Steyr-Hahn. These two are just superb mechanisms. Let me put them down here. That's not what I was talking about today. The 1907 Savage, another bizarre mechanism. Ones I don't have, such as the Hungarian Frommer Stop, or what was it called? The Schwarzlose. Ian McCollum has one of those, and he's the ultimate in the collectors. Except, I mean, you watch his show, his Forgotten Weapons show on YouTube, and you'll see him go through all sorts of guns. Well, most of them aren't his, really. They belong to another fellow, and that fellow's name is Len Antaris. And Dr. Len Antaris, I think he's a retired dentist. I'm not sure. He is a rabid collector of all sorts of things, and all of them, well, most of them firearm related. If Ian is over at Len's house, he usually films in front of Len's big fireplace, so Len became known as Fireplace Guy. Well, Len wrote a book, and most people aren't aware of the fact that Fireplace Guy wrote a book on firearms. Actually wrote a few, but this is the one that he wrote that I want to talk about. This is called Astra Automatic Pistols by Leonardo Antaris. And by the way, this is an Astra. Astra is a 9mm Largo. This is an Astra 400. This was the standard pistol of the Spanish Civil Guard. It was a 9mm Bergman Bayard, better known as 9mm Largo. Let me see if do I got that right there? And Len wrote a book about him and about other earlier designs. So, he has things like the Campogiro and other early designs and some beautiful Damascene ones. And this book is just absolutely jam-packed with pictures, gorgeous, and unfortunately costs a bloody fortune. The reason this is this page is highlighted is because, you see, I put a dot here. That's this pistol. It was a 1924 shipment to the Army. That means that it was on the the government side during the Spanish Civil War. That was the problem. When unrest started, they started clamping down on pistols and stuff. Well, by then, of course, the rebels had stormed the armories and had armed themselves already. But there were some very beautiful pistols that came out of Spain. Some of the rubies that were used in World War I by the French, because, they ran out of pistols. The French were using their 1892 service revolver and some earlier designs, but they just didn't have the capacity to make pistols. They were geared up to make Lebels and Berthier rifles for their troops. So pistols for their officers, not so much. So what they did is they contracted with Spain and the Avar region, and ended up with a whole slew of these 32 autos that were supplied by them. Also, they bought a bunch from the U.S. And anyway, Len talks about that in this book too. This is not a cheap book. This is an expensive book, but it's a really, really good book on the subject. He has in his collection. His collection is to die for. And by the way, let me show you something. Oh, come here. I'm gonna there. I'm not going to play the video, but there's a still. That's Len Antaris, just sitting next to Ian McCollum. He's he is one who will leave Ian speechless because he knows more about guns than Ian does. Believe it or not, there are people who know more about guns than Ian McCollum, and that's one of them right there. And he has his own channel, which is called Historic Investments. Look for it, subscribe to it. It is well worth it. Anyway, just thought I'd mention it. This Astra, by the way, it's a full, the 9mm Largo is slightly larger than 9mm Parabellum, yet this pistol is a blowback. It's just a blowback. And when I shoot this, my hand hurts a lot. I don't shoot it often. I do have some Largo. I have quite a bit of Largo. Largo, by the way, is almost exactly the same dimensions as 9mm Steyr, which is what this thing is chambered in. I have another one that actually shoots 9mm Largo. This one does not. It has a much tighter specs than the other one. The other one is had been used throughout World War I and is frankly sloppy. This one is not, and is in really good shape. And because of that, well, I don't shoot Largo out of it. I have to shoot Steyr. But it is also, what is it, 9x23? I think it's 9x23. As versus 9x19, which is Parabellum. But anyway, Len Antaris. Good book if you want a book on the Astra. I think he's written other books. I can't find any of the other ones. They're all out of print or cost $500 or something. Or watch Historic Investments. And do watch Forgotten Weapons. It's just well worth it.